Panthers went to the Lone Star State to have a heated joint practice with the Houston Texans. How did we fare? Stick around. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm the Big Cat, and this is 1995 The Roar, a channel by a fan for the fans, restoring the roar. If you haven't already, do me a favor, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe. We're on the road to 1K, baby. Let's get there, hopefully, going into the season, all right? Follow me on all my social media outlets as well. We got a good one to you today, guys. We're going to talk about the joint practice with the Houston Texans. We had some knockouts, we had some pass outs, we had guys who didn't show up, and we had guys who stood out. All that and much more on the first Roar. Before we talk about the action on the field, we got to talk about who never took the field. We got to start with wide receiver standout Jalen Coker. He was in the team hotel dealing with an illness. Not sure exactly what it was. I don't know if it was food poisoning or maybe he just was under the weather, but prayers up to him. Also, linebacker Trevion Wallace from the University of Kentucky stayed back home in Carolina for what was called a personal reason here. I'm not sure family matters or, anything of that nature. I'll keep you guys updated if we find out, but prayers up to him. Hope he gets that resolved as well. And last but not least, Florida nose tackle Cam Jackson wasn't able to practice as well. On a related situation here, Nick Scorching, rookie defensive end from Texas A&M, and also homegrown Texas product here, wasn't able to finish practice due to what could be called heat exhaustion or heat fatigue. We were seeing going in early in practice, going to the cooler tent, which is pretty much like a trailer that's, ventilated with, AC and, keep it real cold for guys to bring their core temperatures down. That's a little bit of a mystery to me. Again, this guy's from Texas, played at Texas A&M, and to kind of see him go in early, it was a little bit weird here. I don't know if, I don't think it was out of shape. I mean, what do you guys think in the comment section here, man? I know sometimes your body gets acclimated to certain weather. I know it's been pretty hot in Charlotte too, so that kind of threw me off guard here. But prayers up to him. His core temperature got a little higher than it was comfortable, higher than comfortable for the Carolina Panthers training staff. So they called it quits early, got him in the cooling tent to cool him down, and so hopefully he'll be ready for Saturday's game. As far as practice on the field, things got heated early. Xavier Legette and Bryce Young chemistry was like that. It's good to see it because Xavier Legette was ejected early in the preseason game last week, so he needed to get off to a fast start, and that's exactly what he did. And a beautiful move, which was a double move out and up. Bryce Young put it in the back of the end zone to get us on the board early with a beautiful dime, man. And I gotta say, man, sometimes you gotta question Legette's head, but you never question his talent, right? You always know he got the skill set. So on the board early, the connection was there. Big physical, beautiful route running, and also an ability to drop it in there in the bucket, man. Bryce and Xavier Legette was on point. Chef Bryce RD wasn't finished cooking. He hooked up with T-Mac on a crossing route in which he beat Derek Stingley for a touchdown, which is surprising because T-Mac's game isn't really the speed game, right? He's more of a guy that goes up and get it, contested catches, and he has a little juice on him, but he's not known for burning people. So it might have been just a bad angle for Stingley, but he capitalized for a touchdown. Bryce followed that up with another beautiful pass up the seam to the tight end Mitchell Evans, which was something that we lacked last year, right? Tight end usage was lacking last year. So back-to-back practices when it comes to who we played. The Browns last week and then the Texans this week. We're starting to use our tight end more. I think the more special thing about that play, besides the completion, was Austin Corbett giving Bryce time, right? So Austin Corbett was able to hold the D-line from getting to Bryce. He was able to step up and make that throw. So it makes sense only why he's the starting center, right? So Bryce was clicking early, but he did have some issues as well. And one more note here, Bryce had a beautiful deep ball to Bryson Tremaine, kind of a dark horse when it comes to this receiving room against Kamari Lassiter. You know what I mean? So that's actually a solid cornerback go off for my Georgia Bulldogs. Had a big, beautiful play, which is surprising because, when you think of dark horse receivers, you probably think of, George from Miami that we got on the roster, or Kobe Hudson. Haven't really heard much from them, but today, Bryce and Tremaine had a good day today when it came to connection with Bryce Young. That was kind of the good Bryce. Now you got the bad Bryce. He was sacked by Danielle Hunter from the Houston Texans, probably one of the best pass rushers in the league. Now the play wasn't blown dead, but if this was a real game, he would have been wrapped up. Also, he was picked off by his former teammate, Timmy Halolo, linebacker from Alabama, now with the Texans, was able to pick him off. So, the Texans are one of the best defenses in the league. I didn't expect for us to come out here and drill them, you know what I mean, as far as going out there scoring every play. Bryce had his mistakes. Also, Derek Stingley was able to pick off Bryce Young as well. So, kind of back and forth kind of day, right? This is almost like a measuring stick as far as, you know, how far we come or how far we're getting ready to go here. And for the most part, I kind of seen a little bit of, you know, what we've been seeing in the past, right? You've seen some good, you've seen some bad. There's a lot of inconsistency. I think this Texan defense is on a whole nother level right now, right? You know what I mean? You got Will Anderson, you got Lolo, you got Kermari Lassiter. I mean, you got Derek Stingley. You know what I mean? You got a lot of different Danielle Hunter as well. So this is not a team where you want to experiment against, right? I think they're going to be nice this year when it comes to defense. But you know, I'm not going to say we didn't get our share of fair punches in, but, you know, I can't say we dominated either. Now, Coach Canales had this to say a little bit about practice. He said we got real sloppy. We had about 5 pre-snap penalties in one drive. We're looking at some 1st and 15s, a couple sacks. I thought it got sloppy in the middle. Responded at the end with 2 great 2-minute finishes for touchdowns at the end of practice, which was phenomenal. And I just keep convincing our guys that who we are, we finish. So again, it looks like Canales is saying, hey, you know, I understand bad things are going to happen, but as long as we finish, right? And that's kind of my mantra too. You know, this team right here, you fight to the end, right? You never know how it's going to turn out. You know, how many times have we seen games where teams are comfortably ahead, but then they get sloppy, they start making mistakes, and they just, you know, the other teams just keep clawing back, and they usually win or something of that nature here. But yeah, the pre-snap penalties, this is like the second week in a row. We had the same thing against the Cleveland in practice. So, I mean, I'm concerned about that. And, I mean, I get it, I understand, because that defense is terrifying, right? Let's keep it a buck. That defense from Texans is terrifying, man. So, you want to make sure you try to get a little edge or whatever, you know, when it comes up to that line of scrimmage here. But you can't beat yourselves, right? National Football League, the teams that lose the turnover battle usually lose the game, right? Teams that are in the negative when it comes to penalty or have a bunch of penalty yards usually lose the game, right? So, I mean, at this point, y'all, I'm going to keep it a buck. I still think this is a 5 to 7 win team, man. I mean, at this point, I mean, when you look at it, they just kind of like learning as they go, right? You're going to have some highs, you're going to have some lows. I think you're going to see this team do exactly what Canales said. You're going to see them fight through games, right? I will be surprised if we get blowed out in probably what? I can only see us probably getting blowed out in probably what, 3-4 games? What's that? The Dolphins, you probably get blowed out in. Who else? Probably the Niners. Who else off the top of my head? I don't know, man. Probably like 3 games this year, but for the most part, I think it's going to be competitive ball. Just a matter of just, you know, finishing. On the defensive side of the ball today, the guy who stood out was Pat Jones, man. Had 2 sacks on C.J. Stroud. He was a menace, man, and he has been a menace all throughout, you know, training camp against Bryce Young. So this was a big free agent acquisition. Could be a gem for us. You know, obviously, you know, C.J. Stroud's the man, right? You know what I mean? I don't know how good the Texans offensive line is. I know they got rid of Tunsil, so they may have some issues there, but it doesn't matter to me. Pat Jones showed up and went to work, right? Now, ultimately, C.J. Stroud answered back with a couple touchdowns, one to Nico Collins as well. So I didn't expect for us to shut them down. That's not what I wanted to see. You know what I mean? I seen dogs that weren't backing down. I seen guys that weren't afraid to show up. I seen guys who weren't afraid to get punched or give a punch. And that's all I care about, right? So, again, shout out to him for being one of those guys who showed up and was able to provide his share of damage. Now, there was a play in practice. I'm going to show it on the screen. It should be running through the ticker, man, but it looks like Derek Brown got decleated, right? He got cold cocked there. I looked at it, right? So a lot of you guys, I had some people on TikTok getting mad at me for showing it or whatever, but look, when I went back and looked, it depends on the angle that you look at it. He was chop blocked, okay? It looked like he was hit below and the guy came across and hit him up top. Now the NFL rule book says you can't hit a lineman while somebody's engaged at the legs, right? You can't do that. So I don't know if the guard was falling off of Derrick Brown, and then when the tight end came across, Stover just knocked him onto him. I'm not sure, but yeah, it was an unfortunate situation. Looked like it was an illegal hit there, but the design of the play was like a wham block, right? The guard should have slid off. The guard was still engaged, but what happens is, as a D lineman or defensive tackle, when I play the position, most people just jet up field, right? If you feel the guard letting you go by, you need to start questioning yourself, right? So if the guard's letting you go upfield, you need to get skinny and squeeze the gap because something's coming, right? Nobody's letting you get upfield for no reason, all right? So as a defensive tackle, when you see the guard just letting you go by, something needs to go off in your head. Something needs to go off. You squeeze that gap, prepare for the pulling guard, or prepare for the tight end. So it looks like there was a tight end crackback. Beautiful play design, but it should have been a penalty. Tight end came in, cracked Derrick Brown, leveled him, man. But if Derrick Brown was doing what he's supposed to do, he would have felt that hole getting real easy because he jetted upfield. He would have squeezed it down. Your head needs to look inside. Here comes the tight end. You blow that tight end up. You make yourself a play, right? That's how you do it, okay? See, you feel that empty space. You squeeze that gap. Once you squeeze that gap, your head goes inside. You see the pulling guard or the tight end coming at you. You blow him up. Here comes the running back. Boom. But what happened was he ran upfield, and once he ran upfield, boom, they depleted him. Now the running back goes up your hole. These are basic just techniques of a defensive tackle. But the play wasn't the play. I guess the play should have been a penalty, but it wasn't drawn up to be a penalty, right? Okay, it was drawn up to be a wham block. But shout out to those with the eyes that caught it and stuff. A lot of you guys on Twitter, I don't know if you're a Panthers fan. Why would you bring that up? I'm like, come on, man, stop that, stop that. I'm a fan. I'm not a cheerleader. I don't get paid to be a cheerleader. To smile when this team is not doing well or when they're making mistakes. I speak my mind. If you don't like it, bro, go find you another page, bro. But that's what happened. I'm sorry to bring y'all into that. That was some incident on TikTok. Another guy who stood up today was Mike Jackson, man. I'm sorry, Mike Jackson. I am for real. I've been hard on Mike Jackson, man, but I got to tell you, he's making plays, man. Picked off C.J. Stroud today. He's been looking like a tight cover here. Again, I still think we need cornerback help, but maybe I'm starting to ease into Mike Jackson a little bit, right? C.J. Stroud, I believe he's an elite quarterback. I don't know if he's top 5, but I think he's top 12, top 10 maybe. I don't know, but nonetheless, he showed up on a beautiful pick of C.J. Stroud, letting him know, hey, I'm not the one to try, man. And in the absence of J.C. Horn, again, who's missing joint practice due to the car accident where he got stitches in his thumb, and also he won't be playing Saturday's actual game. So it's good to see that, man, being able to show up and make those plays. Another guy coming off the streets, Chris Burns, guy who pulled up here in free agency just recently, a linebacker position, was able to pick off Davis Mills. So again, it's good to see, we got guys who's coming in this rotation to make plays, right? You're not out here just trying to get a check or anything like that. But I think he's probably going to be a special teamer. But if he goes out here and keeps playing like that, you know what I mean? Hopefully he does make this roster and can be a quintessential part of it. Another takeaway here, Travion Morton, a former Las Vegas Raider here, across the middle, lit up Xavier Hutchins. I believe he made the catch as well, but the Texans weren't too happy about it. So it looks like there was almost a scuffle. Got a little heated there. Travion Morton across the middle, laid the wood on somebody, Xavier Hutchins here, man. So all in all, man, it wasn't much to do about nothing. But it's good to see that passion. It's good to see that fire, right? I didn't want to see a report my team just getting their butt whooped all training camp long. You know what I mean? Them boys, that's what I'm saying, dog. Like, it's not about if you win or you lose. You know what I mean? It's about you showing up for the fight, right? Most people, may not necessarily. I don't think we're quite there when it comes to the talent, or even, far as us being on the same page as some of the more highly functional teams, like the C.J. Stroud and the Texans, or teams that's been around, that's making noise, teams that's been in the playoff these last couple of years, right? We're not there. We haven't made the playoff in years, but that doesn't mean that you can't show up and make your impact being felt. Whether that's just a blow-up tackle, whether that's an interception, whether that's you getting pressure on somebody, you know what I mean? Whether that's you out here burning somebody for 5-yard separation, it don't matter. Show up, you know what I mean? We are not our records in the past, right? We are not our record in the past. We're not who you thought we were, right? We're gonna play beyond our record. We're gonna play beyond that stigma that we have on us. We've been called losers and all kind of other stuff. That's what you think of us, but what do you say about you? You know what I mean? And that's the kind of effort, that's the kind of mindset I want to see Monday through Sunday through Monday. You know what I mean? So yeah, so it looks like these guys, you know, they have a lot to clean up. But I gotta tell you, man, you know, they're showing up, man, and through mistakes and all, man, they're keeping pounding. When it came to this run defense, this team did a decent job today, man. I mean, it wasn't perfect. They got some spots to clean up here, man, but Nick Chubb was pretty much held in check all day. He did have a nice little run at some point throughout the day, but for the most part, it was a wrap, right? I think this pass rush was questionable today. Obviously, you're dealing with C.J. Stroud, a guy he's highly efficient at the quarterback position. Davis Mills was able to throw probably one of their playmakers in Jalen Knowles another touchdown. So be on the lookout for him come the game. Jalen Knowles, keep that name in the back of your mind. But all in all, man, I mean, it was a back and forth kind of day. You know what I mean? It was kind of bring your white hat or bring your blue hat or your yellow vest, and that's kind of go to work, right? Big hits, mistakes, hot weather. I mean, football's back, baby. That's what we're here for, man. But this pass rush, you know what I mean? I think it needs a little more work here. This run defense, it's all right. I think it's sustainable, right? I think it's sustainable. I don't think it'll be our Achilles heel this year. I think the back end, the secondary will, right? But, you know, we'll find out what the Panthers got in store for us, you know what I mean? Whether or not they're going to pursue people off of the waiver wire when it comes to everybody trimming their roster, or maybe they're just going to go into the season with what they got. I don't think that's a good idea. But, yeah, mixed day today. Mixed day up and down. One final thing here. I didn't see much of Ja'Tavion Sanders, and I didn't hear anything about Jimmy Horn. So if you guys know anything in the comment section, let me know, man. As far as I know, they practice, right? But I didn't hear anything. And if they practice and they had a quiet practice, that's kind of disappointing, right? Especially Ja'Tavion Sanders. I mean, week 1 in joint practice with the Browns. Oh, my goodness. It seemed like this guy was head above #1 tight end, right? Or maybe they're just rotating in Mitchell Evans, because we heard a lot about him today. Maybe they just rotated him in, letting him get some more reps, just trying to figure out what they got as a unit, right? So I don't want to overreact to that. Jimmy Horn situation, I have no clue, man. I mean, heard of T-Mac today, heard a little bit about Leggett today, and that's pretty much it, you know what I mean? Coker, I would have loved to see him going up against this Texan team. I'm pretty sure he would have cooked, man. I love Coker, man. I really do. Always Coca-Cola. But yeah, disappointed from those guys, man. But if you got any intel, let me know, all right? This has been 1995 The Roar. I'm your man, The Big Cat. This is a channel by the fans, for the fans. All right, restoring The Roar. Get in the comment section. What is your takeaway about today's joint practice here? Bryce, is he him? Do you think about that Derrick Brown hit? Was it legal? Was it dirty here? How do you feel about this secondary? We did a decent job until we didn't, right? Pass rush as well. And what was your favorite play, man? T-Mac is able to get. You let me know, man. Are you concerned going into this season as far as the defensive side of the ball? And Bryce development and growth. He had a couple interceptions there, a couple mistakes, but he also had a couple big touchdown passes. Which one are you worried about the most? All right, let me know. Also, real quick, we got fantasy football, right? Make sure you guys fill them out, man. If you're interested in joining it, go to my community section. Hey, the slots are filling up, all right? So if you're interested in joining, let me know in the community section and just follow the instructions there. Follow the podcast. We also got a Discord. Let's have this little community nice and tight where you guys can join. We can talk football offline, okay? Last but not least, man, let's get me to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there, okay? So do me a favor, man. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, leave a comment. And yeah, man, we're almost here to Saturday. We will be live during the game. So come back, stick with me for live real game reactions, all right? It's your man, The Big Cat, 1995ers. Let me hear you.